Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and this is going to be another, TV show review. Who don't really delve into the TV realm that often, but nevertheless, here we go. Um, First of all, happy Halloween, everyone. Those who celebrate. And of course, if you are going trick or treating or partying tonight, of course, be safe and everything. Especially since it's apparently snowing in Buffalo on Halloween night, which is insane to think about. But I figured let's make things a little bit spooky, and I had one more review in me for the Halloween season. So originally I was going to do something else for Halloween, but I figured, you know what? Let's change course a little bit. Let's talk about something a little bit closer to home. Oftentimes, and this is why we're delving into the TV realm, is because oftentimes TV shows had Halloween specials or Halloween episodes, and someone who was no stranger to that was Mr. Spongebob Squarepants. So let us review the SpongeBob SquarePants Halloween episodes. Of course, because SpongeBob episodes are usually about 15 or so minutes. It's usually we get two of them. We get an episode, and of course, it's a sister episode. So this time around, we have Scaredy Pants and I Was a Teenage Gary. So so without further ado, let's get right into it. Of course, as always, I'm not professional TV show review or analyst or anything like that. This kind of is a bit uncharted waters for me, but yeah, I'm not really analyst in those departments. Not professional in those departments either. Just a man who enjoys a good time, which I definitely had a great time watching these episodes. It was nothing too long, just kind of short, kind of sweet, kind of fun, to the point, and that's all you can really ask for. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So if you've seen these reviews before, you kind of know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about both episodes. So starting with SpongeBob Scaredy Pants, and so I'm also going to I think what I'm going to do, not just for TV shows, but movies as well. So I might kind of do a plot summary. Let me know if you guys do want a plot summary for the stuff going forward, but kind of a plot summary. So, pretty much in a nutshell, SpongeBob, it's Halloween time in Bikini Bottom, and SpongeBob is scared, which is why it's called Scary Pants. Or Scaredy Pants. He's known as SpongeBob Scaredy Pants because he's very easy to scare, or even getting scared by the own jack-o'-lantern that he made. So he decides, you know what, he's going to do the scaring this year. So he enlists the help of his friend Patrick to dress him up as the Flying Dutchman, even though it's not really the Flying Dutchman, because SpongeBob essentially has a sheet over his head and some, I forget exactly what those shoes are called. Well, I think they're called clogs, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, SpongeBob gets himself a pair of those and gets a sheet over his head. At first, it's square, not scaring anybody. But he tells Patrick to shave him down and make him round. So Patrick does just that. And SpongeBob then shows up to the Krusty Krab because that's where Mr. Krabs is throwing his Halloween party. He and pretty much all the characters are in costume, except for Mr. Krabs. He actually doesn't have a costume, which, considering how cheap Mr. Krabs is, he probably didn't want to spend money on a costume, which is a nice touch. Although I think he did have a costume earlier in the episode, if I'm not mistaken. But Square is dressed as the actual Flying Dutchman, and Sandy is a pet goldfish in a bowl, which is kind of racist if you think about it, at least in terms of fish. Pearl is dressed as, I believe, Frankenstein's bride, and so yeah, but this time SpongeBob descends from the ceiling and Patrick lowers him down with the rope. So SpongeBob's scaring everybody. Patrick's doing voiceover, but then everything goes awry after Patrick is stung by a jellyfish. So he starts running around and stuff after being stung by a jellyfish. Granted, in this universe, jellyfish are pretty much, jellyfish sting in real life, obviously, but jellyfish are essentially supposed to be like bees in this universe, and I've been stung by a bee. It's a yellow jacket hornet, the ones you usually see around Buffalo and everything. The bees / bumblebees are usually much fatter, but the Yellow Jackets are smaller and are jerks. I got stung by one of them. It does not feel nice. I will definitely tell you that. So Patrick's like running around, and SpongeBob, who's still obviously tethered to the ropes, just like swinging around and stuff, hitting everything. And not unlike the April Fool's episode, except this one's a lot more in fun taste. Meanwhile, the April Fool's one was just sad. But yeah, so the people realize it's SpongeBob. So SpongeBob's cover is blown essentially, but then the real Flying Dutchman shows up and chastises everyone trying to dress as him and saying he will steal their souls, which is kind of a callback because Mr. Krabs told a scary story to SpongeBob about how the Flying Dutchman steals souls, leading to Squidward saying he's here for SpongeBob's soul, aka in the form of a pickle. Imagine if souls were in the form of pickles. Maybe that's why Bubble Bass doesn't have any pickles, because he has no soul. Well, I guess, I don't know. But nevertheless, the Flying Dutchman takes the sheet off SpongeBob, but then runs away. And we find out SpongeBob's brain is exposed. So he got shaven down so much that his brain is exposed. So it scares everyone off, including Patrick, once he realizes. He says that it's a pink hat at first. He thinks it's a pink hat, but it's actually SpongeBob's brain, so he runs off as well. And yeah, that would be pretty painful. Like if your head was exposed and your brain was visible, like in real life, like that. Sadly, that injuries happen quite a bit. I don't think I've ever seen an injury happen that badly where the brain is exposed, where it's a very deep laceration. But I know it has happened to some people, and it can be pretty scary. So everybody runs off, and so yeah. And so kind of just like a fun, goofy episode. SpongeBob getting the scaring, essentially doing the scaring this time around. But why is SpongeBob so scared of like everything? His own jack-o'-lantern. But also something interesting that Mr. Krabs brings up is that SpongeBob gets scared every year on Halloween. But we're still in the first season. In fact, it's only like a few months after the first episode aired. The first episode of SpongeBob aired, I believe, back in January of this episode premiered on October 28th, and then SpongeBob began. See if I can look up when SpongeBob premiered. But they're saying it's been like that for years. So it premiered on May 1st. So about 5 months after that. But they're saying that like SpongeBob's been here for years. But I think it's flash forward, especially with episodes like Employee of the Month. But it's also something to not really take too seriously because, you know, cartoon logic. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, so there's that episode. But then we get into I Was a Teenage Gary. So in this one, SpongeBob and Patrick are going off to the jellyfishing convention. Thankfully, this time around, there's no guy with a large boil and there's no sea cucumber. If you get those references. But yeah, so SpongeBob enlists Squidward to watch over Gary. And Squidward first doesn't want to, but then he signs up for it once he realizes that SpongeBob and Patrick are going to be gone for 3 days because it's a 3-day event. So Squidward says he'll watch over Gary, which of course does not happen. Squidward excuse me, I cannot talk, but instead spends the entire 3 days just sitting out there tanning. His skin cancer levels have got to be through the roof. Although I wonder if squids are capable of getting skin cancer. I imagine probably. But anyway, yeah. So Squidward doesn't feed Gary or anything like that. Eventually, he tries to once he realizes SpongeBob's on his way back. Then he tries to like quickly feed Gary, but then Gary isn't eating and he's like all sick and stuff. So SpongeBob calls the doctor and the doctor gives him some snail plasma. SpongeBob doesn't want to administer it. He hands it to Squidward. So Squidward goes to inject it, but SpongeBob keeps moving Gary because he's scared. And then Squidward actually sticks SpongeBob right in the nose. Eventually SpongeBob's freaking out. Squidward's trying to reassure him. It turns out all Gary needed was water, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so SpongeBob at first is worried about stuff happening. Squidward tries to reassure him. So SpongeBob is calm until he starts changing. At first, he starts getting slower, because obviously snails are very slow. Even though Gary isn't always slow, his speed does kind of vary throughout the series. Although, again, cartoon logic. But so SpongeBob gets slower. Then eventually his body fully morphs. His eyes go into like the stalks that snails have, the eyes and stuff, and his body contorts. His arms and legs falls off, and his pants are essentially become like his snail shell. SpongeBob turns essentially into a snail. Because of the snail plasma, aka like snail blood, so he shows up at Squidward's house and starts terrorizing him. Squidward is like freaking out because SpongeBob's turned into a snail, trying to get away from him and stuff. Eventually, Squidward turns his house over, trying to get away from SpongeBob. Doesn't do so, but accidentally injects himself with snail plasma. So now all three are snails. And the ending is pretty funny, where they're like singing / howling at the moon, and Patrick launches a shoe at Squidward because of course he does. I was Teenage Gary. That one, a funny one as well. Pretty much like the parody of like the werewolf type formats, stuff like Teen Wolf and stuff like that. I don't know if Teen Wolf was out at this time, but pretty much a parody of like werewolves and stuff. That Teen Wolf movie back in 1985, so I guess that's a yes. But pretty much a parody of like that. That is pretty funny. That like SpongeBob essentially becoming the snail, and then Squidward becoming the snails. Also, kind of some slapstick there. They're not really supposed to be horror, or essentially, but it's supposed to be. It's more goofy horror, But so those were the episodes, and I remember watching them as a young kid. Not really scared, obviously, because it wasn't anything super duper scary. And it's not really supposed to be scary. It's just more so kind of goofy in nature and everything. Although SpongeBob's brain exposed cannot be comfortable, especially with like Patrick shaving him down. Like that's not just like hair. They treat it like hair, but that's SpongeBob's body. Like SpongeBob's a sponge. Granted, that grows back, which it does, but that's his body being shaved down and stuff. That's like shaving off pieces of my head. That's gruesome. But obviously because the sea sponge, there's liberties. He's like I said, it does regenerate and grow back. So pretty funny episodes there. If I had to pick which one I liked more between these two, I think I might go a little bit more towards I Was a Teenage Gary, mostly because a bit more laughs. Although SpongeBob Squarepants is kind of funny as well, but I think I might go towards I Was a Teenage Gary, more laughs, and I think the story premise is a bit more interesting, even though SpongeBob Squarepants is also pretty funny and has a decent little story to it. But that's the SpongeBob Halloween episodes. So yes, even SpongeBob Squarepants, and it's everybody's favorite. Sea sponge under the sea dips into the Halloween well from time to time as well. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. I told you I couldn't. Jeez, I cannot speak today. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the review, and if you've seen these episodes before, and if you'd like or dislike them, and would you like me to also add in plot summaries in my regular reviews as well? It feels like it should be a no-brainer, because of course I'm talking about like a piece of media, such as like me referencing certain plot points of the movie, or like certain overall stories in like a wrestling match. But sadly in these reviews I do kind of tend to go all over the place. But if you guys are interested in that, please do let me know. But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Happy Halloween. Of course, make sure to be safe, whether you're trick-or-treating, whether you're trunk-or-treating, whether you're going to a Halloween party, which I, of course, am not this year because I don't really get invited to parties that often, but anything you're doing this Halloween, or even if you're just staying inside, wishing you all a very safe and productive Halloween. If you celebrate it, if you don't, then that is totally fine. But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.